So, has anyone heard of a game called Undertale? It's kind of obscure, so I doubt you have. Okay, jokes aside. For those who don't know about it, Undertale is an indie RPG, or role-playing game, released on PC in 2015, the passion project of its developer Toby Fox. You may know Toby from musical contributions he's made to a certain other kind of popular online thing. In any case, it follows the story of this kid, when they fall down into the underground of the mysterious Mount Ebott, only to find a whole new world populated by monsters. Friendly, charming monsters. In the game, you have to travel through the underground on your journey to get back to the surface, learning about the world of monsters along the way. It's a pretty simple game at first glance, filled to the brim with likable characters and highly enjoyable despite its relatively short playtime. But there's more to Undertale than meets the eye. Warning, spoilers ahead. Undertale belongs in a class of fiction called metafiction. That is, a story that recognizes itself as a story and comments on its medium in some way. The issue that Undertale in particular tackles is that of morality in video games. You've probably heard controversy around video game violence based around the idea that the extreme prevalence of aggression as a mechanic in video games contributes to aggression in real life. While I don't personally believe that theory, there is certainly some truth in the idea that video games can affect people in ways that other kinds of fiction can't. Video games are unique in that, unlike watching a movie or reading a book, playing a game is not a passive, unchanging experience. Games are, by definition, interactive. Playing a game is making a series of decisions about how to proceed using mechanics predefined by the software. Just like how a book hides its message in the meanings of words, games can hide messages in exactly what it allows the player to do. When a player starts up a new file, they take on the role of the protagonist. Even if the character has an in-universe personality, their actions are rarely their own. Their actions are the player's actions. This can make gaming feel super immersive and personal, which is kind of the goal, but at the same time, it fosters a bit of a disconnect between the player and the game's world. The player knows something the character they're playing doesn't. No matter what the player does, any action can be erased like magic by reloading a save. In a game, there are no real consequences. Even if some games have a morality mechanic, where you can choose to be good or bad, choosing to be bad has no lasting impact on the player, right? Even if you kick the dog, you can always just reset and not kick it. Nobody's hurt either way. So, by the way of mechanics, intentionally or no, many games tell you this. Why should you try to be good if being bad doesn't hurt anyone? Why does morality matter without consequences? This is exactly the question that Undertale poses. Undertale's tagline says it's a friendly RPG where nobody has to die. Note that phrasing, has to. You don't need to fight anyone, but you can if you want to. Then again, why would you want to? The main mechanic in the game is the choice between fighting and mercy. Unlike in most RPGs, where the only option you have is to fight until the enemy's health bar reaches 0, Undertale allows you another option, to act, puzzling out what actions unique to each enemy to perform in order to convince them not to fight you. The act command is where a lot of the charm in the game comes in. Each monster you come across has a unique personality that you acquaint yourself with and play off of in order to effectively spare them. Everything in the game plays like that. By thinking your way through non-violent solutions to problems, you get rewarded with friends and a better understanding of the game's charming world. In other words, doing the right thing feels good because you get rewarded with the characters you like liking you back. Fighting instead just feels worse. Not only does it feel much more dull like every other RPG in existence, but you can't interact with the characters anymore because they're dead. You killed them. While a game having likable characters isn't exactly an innovation, the levels to which the game goes to stress this point are above and beyond. Even killing just one character, depending who that character is, can alter the game in extremely significant ways. For example, if you kill Papyrus, this guy, his punny brother, Sans, will be absent for the rest of the game, along with the many interactions you'd have with him otherwise. Of course, the multitude of ways the game gets you to love Papyrus makes you want to spare him just because you like him too much. He makes you spaghetti! And he's just so earnest and friendly. How could you hurt that face? The game has 3 main endings. The Pacifist ending, where you spare everyone, the Neutral ending, where you spared some monsters and fought others, and the Genocide ending, where you, well, we'll get to that. The Pacifist ending is, in many ways, considered the definitive ending. It's the only real happy ending, and it has a credit sequence to boot. But then, after you finish it and try to restart again, well, let's talk about Flowey. This character is an antagonist named Flowey, and he, just like you, exists outside the boundaries of the game. He knows that you, yes you, sitting in that chair, are pulling the strings, doing things like saving and loading and resetting. He knows that because he can do it too, or he used to be able to. Flowey's programmed to remember when you save and load your game, and several times throughout the game, can call you out on it. For example, in the beginning of the game, you may accidentally kill the first boss, Toriel, a mother figure. Toriel does not respond to any items in the act menu, and since it's also established that you can spare an enemy by first getting it to low health, many players try to get her to low health only to find that you automatically kill her after she reaches about half. If you, as many players do, immediately reload and redo the fight to spare her properly, not only does the flavor text notice that it would be a bit creepy to tell her that you saw her die, but Flowey remarks on it afterwards. "I know what you did," he says. "You murdered her." Though I didn't run into this on my own first run, the fact that this is a technically avoidable trap that the game sets up demonstrates how far it will go to prove that mercy is the right option. This is the first time the player's expectations get completely turned on their head. You aren't above consequences, because even if the game didn't know what you did, you still do. And you might discover that Flowey's right, that you do feel bad about it. You realize this because the game went out of its way to point it out to you. You don't just take the good path because it nets you more content, but also because there's now real consequences if you don't. Actually, legitimately feeling bad. So when you try to restart the game after a Pacifist run, Flowey tells you, nobody is going to remember this, not even him. Nobody in the game is going to know that you gave them their happy ending and then snatched it away. Nobody but you. That's the burden you must bear for replaying this game you bought on Steam for $10. And for a lot of people, that was too much. By relying on the idea that the player knows this is a game, despite actively separating the player from the game's world, this mechanic sends the message that you, as this world's god, aren't just free to do whatever you want without consequences. Sans says it best. If you have some kind of special power, isn't it your responsibility to do the right thing? In answer to the question from before, morality matters without consequences because it is always your responsibility to do the right thing, especially if it doesn't affect you. You have a responsibility to the fictional, even though, and especially because it only matters to you. Now let's get back to that third ending. Given everything I've talked about here, it would seem strange that anyone would decide to fight in this game, right? Why would you? Well, it's kind of obvious. The game that tries to morally lambast you for playing it all the way through seems a bit silly, though a lot of people, myself included, care about the characters way too much to hurt them given how hard you're emotionally penalized for it. A lot of other people consider themselves more separated from the world of the game and don't have that same issue. They just want to get their content. If you only play the Pacifist run, you get the message meant for the kind of person who would only play the Pacifist run, that being that good is its own reward. The ending you get if you fight, meanwhile, is the message meant for the kind of person that would fight, for the insatiably curious, or the bored. While somebody could get a neutral run for just making a mistake or not getting overly caught up in the game's sentimentality, a genocide run is triggered by actively searching out and killing every single monster in the game. There's a limited number, and it takes quite a bit of time searching to get every last one. It's tedious and boring, but more importantly, it's intentional. Nobody triggers a genocide run by accident. If you triggered it, it's because you knew the game gave it to you as an option by virtue of adding a fight button, and that's enough reason to go for it. You want all the content the game has to offer, and the game knows that. The genocide run is extremely different from any other route, not only because you have to spend a lot of time grinding and going through hoops to get and keep it, missing even one monster will immediately turn it into a neutral ending, but also because the game treats you differently. In any other route, most characters refer to you as this kid, your avatar in a sense. But in the end of the Pacifist ending, you learn something of a plot twist. Your player character isn't you. You gave a name at the beginning, a name that traditionally is supposed to be your own, and that isn't this character's name. This character is named Frisk, and Frisk is the one that all the characters in the game have been interacting with, not you. But in the genocide run, it is you, because you went through steps to prove yourself the malevolent god of this world that can do anything you want without consequence. Flowey immediately recognizes you as you, the name you entered, and everyone else treats you like a natural disaster, saying that you aren't human, saying what kind of monster are you, and in many ways referring to the fact that you, the player, are out of place. Even the flavor text switches to first person. This is all to say that, when a player decides to play a genocide run, they get the extra content they wanted. There's plenty more story available to sate even the most eager fan, but the consequence is being completely, forcibly set apart from the game's world. It's a be careful what you wish for kind of deal. As mentioned earlier, one of the main main draws of gaming is being able to be part of a new immersive reality, and few games are more immersive in that way than Undertale. The Genocide Run does away with that, and at every turn tries to remind you of the bridges you're burning with these charming characters by acting so terribly, just because you think their suffering doesn't matter. Because, well, it's all fictional, and at this juncture you don't consider yourself a part of it at all. You could go back to having them love you at any time. You're, after all, above consequences. Or are you? At the end of the emotionally harrowing journey for more content that is the Genocide Run, you finally get the ending you wanted. You, yes you, this character that shares the name you entered at the beginning, kill every monster and destroy the world. Yes, actually destroy it. If you try to open the game again, all you get is a black screen. Your consequence for being willing to put aside your morals for the sake of selfishness is being unable to play the game anymore, being separated from it forever. Or well, actually all you have to do is wait 10 minutes on this blank screen, but whatever. It'd be kind of messed up if it actually locked you out. If you do that, you'll get a prompt. Why do you want to go back, it asks. Do you think you're above consequences? Isn't this what you wanted? Evidently it isn't. So if you just sell your soul to this character, the you that got out of hand, you can play the game again. But your choice will never be forgotten. Literally never. From then on, if you play the Pacifist ending, there's a change. At the very end, Frisk doesn't get to live happily with the monsters. The monster you created takes over and kills them all, ruining their happy ending. That will stay no matter how many times you reset, even if you uninstall and reinstall the game fresh. Maybe it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect how you play the game, and it doesn't affect your enjoyment of it. But you will always know that you took that step, and it will matter to you. Once again, morality matters without consequences, because it is always your responsibility to do the right thing. If you do the right thing, you feel good, and if you do the wrong thing, you feel bad, even if the consequences of your actions only matter to fictional characters. Because fiction is powerful, and that is a fact that Undertale's mechanics use to its limit to deliver its message. In the end, living in the fictional world of a video game may place you outside the bounds of real consequences, but any consequence is real as long as it matters to you. But maybe you don't exactly need a feature-length video essay to figure that one out, huh? Play the game for yourself if you haven't. It's really good.